Hi, my name's Carl. I'm the Real Disco Doc, and we've got a bit of an ad hoc one today. I've literally just finished cooking dinner for the kids. I got a message from Simon, who, for those that don't know, he's the owner of a shell shop in Brighton, and it's quite a significant shell shop. That's hard to say. Quite a significant shell shop. He sells seashells on the seashore. Yeah, Simon sells seashells on the seashore. Anyway, because there is some speculation that this particular shell shop was the inspiration for Ren Gill and his incredible series of songs called Money Game, Part 1, 2, 3. Because Ren obviously spent many years in Brighton and this shop was prominent there, and I don't think that's ever been confirmed by Ren or his team. However, they have recently reached out to Simon, as he put on social media, he shared on social media, to be in a music video that they were recording. So they're certainly aware of Simon and who he is and what he does. So let's fuel a bit of fuel for the conspiracy there. There we go. Anyway, Simon messaged me to say you might want to get on top of this, with a link to a video that says Iyah May or Iyah May Karmageddon lyric music video. And he's put, you will like her backstory too, fully independent, sacked by her label, qualified doctor, and talk is this may get banned by YouTube. Right, well, I don't want any YouTube bans or shadow bans if the algorithms are listening. Nothing controversial to see here. That being said, I've got no idea what this music video is about or the contents of the song, but it piqued my interest. It piqued my interest. I'm a qualified and practicing counsellor here in the UK, so the fact that she's a qualified doctor has piqued my interest. The fact that this has come from Simon, I wonder whether there's any link to the Reniverse or to topics that Ren sings about, raps about. Let's find out together now. I'm sorry, I've done no research. Let me know in the comments if it's Iyah or Iyah. I'm not sure how you're going to tell me that in a comment, but let me know. May Karmageddon lyric music video. Let's go.
I open up my phone on a Monday morning, staring at my screen. I'm tired and a little lonely. Mr. Muskie says some shit that left so angry. Twitter wars and Gaza many. So
okay, so the tone of her voice I really like. Almost got that sort of Billie Eilish nasal twang to it. That sort of almost flat. It's not flat, and it does sound like it's had some sort of auto-tune processing and stuff for effect, not because she can't sing. I'm not saying it's flat, falling flat of the notes, but it's got that sort of nasally, almost just like speaking tone. Already, some of the contents that she's talking about are interesting. This is clearly not just another pop song, as I was warned. And the melody of the track so far, da 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 da, something like that. Anyway, it's almost like an ice cream van. It's carefree, it's childlike, it's diametrically opposed, if that's the right word, to the lyrical content. So that's very interesting, and sometimes having that dissonance can be a way to really hammer home the message of a song.
maybe that's how life becomes when people less important than a profit line. No one cares about your dreams, just pay your tax on time. Keep scrolling, hold me near to you now. Gender, guns, religion, and abortion rights. You better pick a tribe and hit the other side. Keep scrolling.
Did you see Taylor live?
So then there was that sort of mocking, condescending, but did you see Taylor live? Could be a commentary on the music industry, the entertainment industry, celebrity culture, and our values as a society, the things that we place value on. So mentioning things like terrible wars and people dying in the same breath as then saying, yeah, but did you go to that gig the other night? Or did you see a 30-second TikTok clip of your favourite artist live? Because that's what it's often reduced to now, isn't it? And which one takes up more real estate in your brain? Are we just being really easily distracted from the things that really matter in the world? She's covering a lot, isn't she? A lot of modern life and the things that affect us. She's talking about just sort of mindless scrolling on phones. She's talking about picking a side. Better pick a side. Hate the other side. And that's what Ren Gill does as well. That lyric from Money Games, there's no left, there's no right, in the middle we sleep. She's saying pick a side, pick left, pick right, and then fight. Ren says that the left and the right are just illusions. They're just tools to be used to manipulate people and groups of people, society. I'm not going to keep comparing her to Ren. It's just obviously that was my way in through Simon, links to the Reniverse, and I think it's interesting. Now she's moved on to talk about health issues in terms of the pandemic. I'm not going to comment on the COVID line because we've all got our own opinions, and whatever I say here isn't going to sway you one way or the other. Certainly not worth me risking demonetizing my channel for saying one thing or another and alienating potentially half of my subscribers, because it's irrelevant. I think what's going on here is she's stimulating conversation. She's saying, you know, in a 3.5 minute song, I'm going to hit as many potentially controversial but relevant, pertinent topics as I can. You know, each line almost is bringing a new subject, and it's all stuff that is bothering people, is keeping people awake at night, is causing conflict and division. And I think she's just handing it to us on a plate almost and saying, have you seen this? Remember, this is what's going on whilst you are all being so distracted with media.
Biggest profit of their lives. Here's inflation, that's your prize. This is Karmageddon. Turn on the news and eat their lies. Kim or Kanye, pick a side. Cancel culture, what a vibe. This is Karmageddon. Corporations swear they never lie. Politicians bribe for life. More than war, it's genocide. This is Karmageddon. Welcome to the chaos of the times. If you go left and I go right, pray we make it out alive. This is Karmageddon.
Curious about the title, Karmageddon. I understand Armageddon, end of the world, and karma. So the end of the world, the destruction of the world, is our karma. But what am I struggling with here? I'm struggling with where do you draw the line between personal responsibility and culpability of the individual versus governments and corporations, both of which she's mentioned several times? Because it's easy to say, well, that's the government. We voted the government in. They've been elected, and that's for them to sort out. I chose them based on their policies, or I chose the other, and oh well, they didn't get in, for example. Or shareholders are supposed to hold corporations to account. ha ha. And sure, you know, we have sort of independent ethical bodies and that sort of thing, as well as regulated industries supposed to control the free market. Does it? Is it effective? Or is it just another way of introducing corruption for the few to benefit? That's a question. But I feel like in calling it Karmageddon, she's saying it's all of us, it's all of that. This is your karma and your end of the world that you have brought upon yourselves. So what does that mean for the individual and the family unit and the small interest group or hobby group or community? It means that we don't get to hide behind that smallness. It means that we either get together with others and take a stance and take action and make a change, really affect a change ourselves, or we don't really get to moan about it and complain about it and bitch and whine about it and take part in these divisive discussions and flame wars and so on, because we're part of the problem. I said I wouldn't keep mentioning Red and money games and so on, but isn't that his message too? You know, that we can blame all these exterior forces, but when we look in the mirror, that's us looking back, and we're all part of this old money game, as he says. I just looked in the camera. Hello Carl. Hi Carl. Hi Carl. Hi. That's my high rem moment. I'm not going to start rapping. And noticed that I've got this hoodie on, this particular hoodie on, complete chance, as I say. Got the message from Simon, the seashell shop owner, and cooked dinner for the kids, and then came straight out here to record. But look what I'm wearing. This is a brand called Dirty Hippies. It's actually a brand that I started. I'm not plugging it now, the company doesn't exist anymore. It's a brand that I started a few years ago because I wanted to create a digital platform which served as an online marketplace for ethical products that had strict criteria. There are other ones around now, there weren't so many at the time. Strict criteria for onboarding sellers, partners, and the products that they would sell. You know, ensuring ethical supply chains and so on. And so I just noticed that, but I bring that up to say there's an example of trying to make a small change that could have a ripple effect and contribute to the greater good, rather than just sitting and bitching. That particular business initiative didn't work out, but there's an example right there. You know, if you've got the right people with the right intent and the right attitude, trying to make a difference, trying to make a change, then we really can, particularly in community, working together for a common cause and the greater good. This song gets you thinking, doesn't it? It gets you talking.
Fashion week, celebs lose ribs. Balenciaga, how's the kids? Just as Stray Keys losing beef. Kendrick.
Fuck off. Fuck right off. The moment that I paused it was just before she says it's Fashion Week and talks about Balenciaga, a brand that I could not afford, let alone have any desire to buy or wear. And I don't know, presumably, she's talking about the kids, so presumably there's been some sort of scandal with that brand, that premium brand, and supply chain, manufacturer, I guess, talking about the kids. How mad. I was going to look for a long fancy word then, but fuck that. How mad. I just paused it. That's what her song had been leading up to me thinking about. I noticed this, and that's what I said about fashion, and then she sings those lyrics. Oh, I got shudders, shivers and shudders.
This track's about beating up your queen. More women dying doesn't cause a scene. While we're fed all A circus for your melodies decline. We just want a peaceful life, give the people back their rights. And I still got a beef, cause Fauci's laughing and we've been asleep. And who's a liar and it's running deep. Big pharma finna eat, they a devil make 'em weak. Man-made virus, watch some millions die. Biggest profit of their lives. Here's inflation, that's your prize. This is Karmageddon. Turn on the news and eat their lies. Kim or Kanye, pick a side. Cancel culture, what a vibe. This is Karmageddon. Corporations swear they never lie. Politicians bribe for life. War and war, it's genocide. This is Karmageddon. Welcome to the chaos of the times. If you go left and I go right, pray we make it out alive. This is Karmageddon.
It's a catchy hook. It's a really catchy hook. I'm terrible at remembering lyrics. I play a bit of ukulele, a little bit of guitar. If I'm playing a song, I tend to remember the lyrics a bit more than if I just listened to them a couple of times. But already the words of that hook are starting to stick in my brain. It's hooking, as the word suggests. And it's almost anthemic. You know, she's almost chanting those words. And you can imagine that if this was a big song and she did a concert and lots of people were singing along, chanting along those words too, you can imagine how powerful that would get across her message. A video of that going viral on TikTok would be a sort of counterforce opposing to many of the things that she's talking about, much of the other content on those platforms. So that's pretty cool. In terms, I said about her tone of voice, which I quite liked at the start. I mean, one thing I would say is it's getting harder and harder to know what is AI generated songs and what isn't. I've heard a few recently, people have shared in my Discord channel, that have sounded almost more human than her, if that makes sense. And I'm not accusing her of being AI. I'm not adding to more conspiracy theories on conspiracy theories. I'm just saying that that tone that I heard in the first few bars, it would have been nice to really hear more full expression and less of the auto-tune for effect, because she's singing about real stuff and raw stuff. So I'd quite like it to be a bit more real and raw. But as I said at the start, you've got that contrast between almost sort of nursery rhyme melodies, ice cream van melodies, and the lyrical content, which actually could be deliberate for effect to make you go, oh, shit. 15 seconds left. Wow, Karmageddon. So I'm on the YouTube video description. It says, while Karmageddon has sparked significant conversation and controversy, Iyah has stood her ground. She refused to compromise her vision when asked to change a key lyric line. Wonder which line it was. I'm guessing the pandemic line. Leading to the end of her contract with her manager, she chose to walk away from her record label. So she was signed. And now fully independent, she continues to carve her own path as an artist. Her fearless approach is shaped by her unique perspective as a qualified medical doctor. Wow. Having worked on the front lines during the COVID-19 pandemic. Bloody hell. I'm so pleased that Simon, this seashell store seller man, sent me the link to watch this. It's you know, I'm not going to say I agree with every lyric. I don't think I'm supposed to. I don't think we're supposed to. I think it's supposed to stimulate conversation and debate, but more than that, to remind us of that polarization between left and right, and perhaps invite us to consider whether that is what we really want, how we want to be spending our days, because how we spend our days is how ultimately we have spent our life, our whole life. Do we want to look back lying on our deathbed and think, I won that debate with Barry from Wigan on Twitter in 2025 on the 12th of January? Or are we more likely to look back and think, I wish I'd done a bit more friendship building, community building, advocacy, volunteering, policy lobbying. I wish I'd done more to try and change the world and leave the world a better place than I found it, rather than winning pointless flame wars online. Lots to think about, lots to discuss. Get in the comments, be respectful, let's have a chat. I am Carl, the real Disco Doc. Peace. Oh, and I forgot to say, I last saw Simon at a Skinner Brothers concert. It was absolutely brilliant. Brilliant gig. Big mosh pit. Everyone slamming around into each other, but helping each other as well. It was like the old days in a venue that I used to go to as a teenager. Great fun. Loved it. Saw Simon there. Didn't know I was going to see him there. Actually gave him I took my hoodie off that I was wearing, which happened to be a Disco Doc hoodie. I went to the merch stand at the front of the venue where Skinner Brothers and their support acts had Sharpies, and they were signing merch. And I went up, and bit rude really, I guess, in retrospect. They were expecting me to ask them to sign some merch, and instead I asked if I could borrow the Sharpie so that I could sign my hoodie and give it to Simon as a little memento. Anyway, there you go. Peace.